either us or Georgia. I don't know if anybody picked some other teams. So it's a huge game, conference game, division game, and all that. Hopefully our team will be ready to play a lot better than we played last week. It wasn't real pretty the way we attempted to play, and hopefully we can make some adjustments coaching-wise and player-wise and play a lot better. I'm sure Georgia feels pretty much the same way, that they're capable of playing a lot better than they did against Boise. But anyway, Boise, as I said earlier in the week, you got to admire the way their kids play. They play fundamentally sound, very few mistakes, hustle, give it their best shot. And, you know, when they jog out on the field, they look a little bit like Wofford, a little bit like Furman and some of those teams. And they just play extremely hard and smart. Their quarterback was real sharp with the ball, and they know what they're doing. So you got to give those guys credit for knowing how to play the game. But anyway, that game's history, and hopefully our team can play a lot smarter and so forth, and take care of the ball, play well in the kicking game. We made some good plays as far as the one punt return, but you know, we dropped a punt, we dropped a kickoff, fumbled a kickoff. So it was a little discouraging early in the game, but second half, fortunately last week we settled in and played a little bit better. But anyway, got a lot of work to do, trying to get better. Georgia's a very good team. Their quarterback's very good. Their tight end is really good, and we got to really play some ball. So it's a huge game. Looking forward to see what happens. Well, we all know the winner's in pretty good shape. Loser is not in terrible shape, but he's not as good a shape as the winner. So anyway, it's an important game. We got everybody healthy, and look forward to seeing if we can't play a lot better this week. Any questions? Glenn, you don't have any?
Yes, sir.
Steve, in years past, you guys may have gone into Georgia thinking you could get the late touchdown, maybe beat them. This year, you're actually favored. Does it maybe change the perception of looking at the Bulldogs?
No, none of that means anything. We don't look at favored or who is, or just trying to play the best we can. That's really all we're trying to do, is play the game a lot better than we did last week. If we do that, we'll have a chance. If we don't do that, our chances won't be very good. So that's what we're trying to do.
Coach, throughout the 90s and the 2000s, you know, a lot of coaches in the SEC used to have long tenures. Old colleagues like Philip Fulmer, Urban Meyer was in Florida for a while. Since you've been here, all those guys are gone. Are there any parallels to draw to what you've done with this program to that, and pertaining specifically to Coach Rick, who of course is the longest tenured coach in the SEC at this point, but he seems to be on the hot seat?
Well, times change, as we all know in sports. Who would ever thought Jim Tressel wouldn't be at Ohio State this year? I mean, things change quickly sometimes. And obviously, if you go in a little bit of a slump and you're at a school that's used to winning, and you're not winning as big as you used to, the fans get a little irritated. That's just the way it is. You know, I came to a program that actually the coach before me had a losing record. So anyway, our expectations weren't quite like Florida and Tennessee and Georgia. So we had, as I said then, we had nowhere to go but up. And we've gone gradually up. We're not up yet, that's for sure, but we're trying to get there. So anyway, you know, Mark Rick knows how to handle this, and really his situation's got nothing to do with the game or any coach's situation. I know the media likes to write about a coach on the hot seat or so forth, but I can assure you they're not sitting there worried about him on the hot seat. They're trying to figure out how they're going to beat us, and we're trying to figure out the best way we can attempt to beat them. So it should be a heck of a game. Should be one heck of a game.
Back to the room here, Coach. Coach, can you talk about the way you used Marcus Lattimore a year ago, and do you anticipate needing to do that again this time around, and if necessary, doing it again? He had a lot of carries last year, especially for a true freshman that's coming out for him.
Yeah, he had a lot of carries in the second half last week, too, once we figured out that was the best way to try to win the game. But who knows how it'll turn out. If he's running for 6-7 yards a carry, like he did last year, then obviously he may get 35. But they got to stack the box. They watched, I'm sure, a lot of tape on the run blocking schemes that we were using, and I don't know how many yards he's going to gain, but you got to figure they're going to try to get some more guys in the box and defend against Marcus. So maybe we need to throw the ball a lot better than we did last week, and go from there. Pass block better, and run better routes, a little bit better throws here and there, and that may be the key for us to beat him. Who knows? Or we maybe can keep running him. Who knows? We'll see.
Coach, you said it yourself during your opening statement. You said this is a huge game. I mean, is that the message you send to your players, or is that not necessary?
Well, yeah, we tell them the importance of the game. You know, I don't know if all of our guys know that Georgia's in our division. I hope they do, but I'm not sure if they do or not. So maybe they do. So we tell them that, and the importance of that. But other than that, it's just a game, and if it goes bad, we're still going to keep playing the rest of the year. If it goes good, we still got to keep playing the rest of the year. So it's one game, and all your division games really are your most important of the year, because usually your first goal, if you're in position, is to win the division. So the division games are just a tad bit more important as far as accomplishing your goal of winning the division.
Coach, what did you think about Antonio Allen's performance and being left off the list by the SEC?
Yeah, Antonio had a super games, and super is a good word for it. 16 tackles, a fumble recovery, a strip fumble for a touchdown, and I guess he should have been the SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Is that what you said? Who did he give it to? I don't know.
Got from LSU.
Okay, well, he probably had a heck of a game too. So maybe Antonio had his big game a week. Another guy had a big game. But anyway, it's well documented what he did, and he's on the way, hopefully, to having a super year that's going to help our team win big.
Back of the room. Go ahead.
Coach, back here, I know you just addressed the significance of this game coming up. There's a lot of talk in the media locally about, oh, this has national title or SEC implications, SEC East implications. Is that hyperbole, or is this really a big game?
Well, it's a big game, but it's not the only game we're going to play. And, one of the teams that wins it, they could still lose a bunch of them down the road. And the team that loses might win a bunch of them down the road. So it's... we play, 8 conference games, play 5 division and 3 out of division. So like I said, the division games are a little bit more important, but we're trying to play better than we did last week. That's our goal this week.
Josh, I'm sorry.
How do you think Rakevius Watkins played, and moving from guard to tackle, is it a big deal for a guy? Does he have to run?
If he's a good player, I think he can play about anywhere up front. And Rakevius, he had a very good game at right tackle. He's in the best shape probably of his life. And I think he came here about 345, 350. And I think he's down to 325 now, which he can handle pretty easily. So, yeah, he had a good solid game, and he was offensive lineman of the week. Okay.
Has his weight been the biggest issue for him reaching his?
No, just learning how to play, and in conditioning also. He's a little stronger, a little quicker feet and all that. But he's a pretty good athlete. He can run around pretty good, and he handles the weight that he has right now. He handles it pretty well.
Steve, I know it wasn't the game Connor wanted to have.
Mm-hmm.
How is he? How is he right now? Is he ready to get back in when his chance comes up?
Oh, he's fine. Yeah, he saw what happened, and we watched the tape, and he could have done this, could have done that. And, obviously the 2 long balls, they were close. Jason hit Jason. The guy sort of got a hand in there, been a good catch, but he didn't quite pull it down. And then the one to Alshon was just a couple of yards short and got tipped it. So anyway, but then some other plays he could have done better. So he understands, and he understands Stephen played a lot better than he did. And that's the way it was. Connor had played a little bit better than Stephen in preseason, and we, like I said, we opened it up, and that's what we did. And so it worked its way out. And we didn't say Connor was going to be it for the year. We said it's each going to play a quarter, and it'll work its way out, and it did.
Steve, after the game Saturday, you praised Garcia for cleaning himself up and having a good attitude despite the disappointment of not starting. Do you think not letting him start Saturday maybe caught his attention a little more than some of the other punishments you've issued to him?
Well, you know, all that's history now. I don't know if we need to talk about it too much. The simple fact was when we brought him back, I told he and everybody that we're going to open it up for competition to see who starts the season, and that's what we did. And Connor, statistically, was a lot better than him in preseason and hit all those deep balls. I think you guys were out there, weren't you, when we had it open to the public then? So that's the way it worked out. But there's also, that doesn't mean Connor's the best quarterback. I never said he's the best quarterback on the team. I said he won the preseason competition, and he knew that too. And you got, you know, when you play in the real games, that's when it counts. That's when it counts for everybody. So that's why we played the quarter each and go from there. But that's history now. Steven's back in the box. He's cleaned up. Yeah, he came to the pregame meal all shaved. We've been asking him to shave for 5 years now. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But I think a quarterback should be shaving. That's just my opinion. There's some out there with beards. I see them. I heard that guy, Colin Coward, the Herd show. He said, "I don't like it that Tommy Romo wears his hat backwards on the sideline." And he said he ought to wear it like Peyton Manning normally. And that's, and I sort of agree with it. Quarterbacks, everybody's looking at them. They need to be sharp. They need to do things right. And Stephen's made a lot of progress toward that. Okay.
Coach, what is it about this Georgia game? Rankings just never seem to matter in this game. I mean, Georgia came here a couple years ago as the #1 team in the country. You guys it just seems like it's always tight. What is it about this game that it's sort of pick 'em every time?
I don't know. You guys will have to write that. We try to get ready to play all of our games pretty much similarly, and I'm sure they do too. Just two pretty even teams, and it could be very much that way again Saturday afternoon.
What do you think of Marcus's Heisman chances, given the style of runner that he is, given how important he is to you guys, all the time?
Well, whoever wins the Heisman nowadays is usually a player on a team that's in the top 5 in the nation and contending for the national championship. So something were to happen. We got in that position at the 10th, 11th, 12th game. You would think he'd have a chance. But if we're not in that position, it'd be difficult to have a chance, I would think. So we don't really talk about that and worry about that. I know it gives the media something to talk about. But we got to concern ourselves trying to beat Georgia this week and so forth.
Is your vote based on the team's ranking? How do you vote?
How do I vote?
For the Heisman, do you base it on the team's ranking, how well they've done?
I vote for whoever I want to.
How do you decide?
I usually vote for the guy on my team. If I can. I know I voted for Sidney Rice, voted for Kenny McKinley. Who else did I vote for recently? Yeah, Marcus got one of my votes last year. Yeah, he got one last year. And that's what most people do, don't they? They vote they vote for whoever you want to.
Most people don't have a Heisman vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stephen had a pretty good game 2 years ago, so in terms of the numbers. How did he practice last night, and do you like the way he's approaching this game with being his first start of the year?
Well, he's had plenty of starts now. I don't think he's nervous about his first start of the year. No, we're just getting ready to play the game. The game 2 years ago, we had 2 touchdowns called back, allowed a kickoff return for a touchdown, and thrown it at the end zone, didn't quite hit it. But anyway, I don't know if it'll be a game like that or not. Who knows how it will be. They got a different defensive coach now, and maybe both teams are a little bit more run oriented. I'm not sure. So you just never know how the game will turn out.
Quinn's going.
Coach.
What about Georgia's defense sticks out to you, impresses you?
Oh, they got good athletes, as always. They've been recruiting extremely well. Like I said, in the top 10 in the nation in recruiting every February, I think. And I read where they called this recruiting class their dream team. Well, I guess all you guys know that. Josh, you knew that, didn't you?
I did.
They called it, some of their guys call it the dream team. So we're going against, pretty good bunch of athletes. And even though they got some young guys playing, we got some young guys too. And they got good athletes all over the place. Got to execute, have good plays on at the right time, and take care of the ball, all that kind of stuff.
Steve, a lot of the preseason talk was about finding another receiver to complement Alshon. Did you see anything out there Saturday that you liked? Who stood out to you?
Well, we didn't get a lot of balls out at times, and our protection broke down. The quarterback had to run a few times, and they covered well. East Carolina had a couple of decent coverages on them, and a few times we just couldn't get it out. But other than that, our guys have caught the ball well in practice, and they just need opportunities. They got to have opportunities as a receiver. That's how you catch a lot of balls, and obviously we throw mostly at Alshon, but we need to get the other guys involved, and we'll see how it plays out. But we're going to still try to throw at Alshon a bunch. Yeah, we're not saying let's throw at these other guys because most people just play their defense. Nobody just says, well, we'll play him bump and run, the guy over the top of him, and zone up the rest of the field. No, not many coaches do that. So Alshon, he's just running, usually gives the other team's defense.
Hey, Coach, Brandon Boykin's a pretty dynamic player, and he scored a touchdown for Georgia on offense this week. He could be a wild card in a really close game between your team. Is that one of the players you're concerned about to stop this weekend?
Yeah, we know he's out there. He ran a kickoff back 2 years ago, and he ran an 80-yard run last week. So we've got to try to contain him, and if we kick it to him, we got to cover very well, and so forth. Yeah, we know who he is, and he's a big play guy. I think he's had, 5 returns for TDs? We've had 1 now. We're on the way. I tell you, that was a close call on the clip in midfield, too. As soon as it happened, I said, might as well just go on down, Ace. This one's coming back. But we looked up, and there was no flag. So we had some real good fortune on that call.
Steve, you kind of brushed over the point spread thing, but that's pretty unusual around here to be favored at Georgia, and you might be favored in every single game you play this year. What's it like going?
Not the way we played last week. We've got to play a lot better. Yeah.
What's it like going in a very short time from being a frequent underdog every Saturday to being a team that's going to get everyone's best shot every Saturday?
Oh, I think we always get everybody's best shot, to tell you the truth, and the only thing in our minds is how lousy our team played last week. I mean, it was a pretty sloppy game defensively, offensively. 2 fumbles on special teams. Other than that, they played very well. But we had 2 penalties on 2 big returns. Bruce ran it up to midfield, had a holding or pushing the back on that, and then a punt return. We had a pushing it back there. So they called an illegal alignment when Joey punted the ball, his best one of the night, and then he hit a high shanker the next one. I think we lost 40 yards in that exchange. So we played almost like we could have got. Well, we did play like we could have easily lost the game. And fortunately, East Carolina fumbled it to us. We didn't have to go 80 yards every drive. If we'd had to go on 80 and they stayed on the field and moved the ball like they did, we would have been in serious trouble. But fortunately, they kept fumbling to us there, and we were able to get the lead. So anyway, we got to play a lot better before we think we're hot stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. We're not very hot right now. We're just an average bunch of guys out there right now. Yeah.
After watching the film on ECU, impressions of your defense and specifically on Jadeveon Clowney.
JD played pretty good. I think he had 7 tackles or so and some hurries. But defensively, no, we didn't play like we're capable. They completed 37 passes, and 21 first downs, and scored touchdowns 5 out of 6 times in the red zone. We couldn't even hold them to field goals, so no, we we're very fortunate to win the game with all that.
Steve, when you're coming off a game where you had a lot of fumbles, how do you approach that the next week in practice?
Yeah, see, 2 of them were on the special teams. Connor had one, and Marcus spun around. The guy hit him right on the ball. We've been pretty good about taking care of the ball. We'll do our ball security drills. You know, like I said, we only had one fumble by a running back or wide receiver. So, yeah, if our running backs and receivers were catching it and fumbling, you know, we'd have to have a little talk, I guess. But anyway, we need to be careful with the ball, certainly. Okay.
Georgia runs the 3-4 just like East Carolina, but how does Georgia execute their 3-4 differently than East Carolina based on what you've seen on film?
Yeah, they move around a little differently. It's probably more of a 3 guys with their hand on the ground and a stand-up guy. A little bit like a 4-3 type scheme, a little bit. They don't put a pure nose guard and 2 defensive ends. So there's 3 guys with their hand on the ground, but they're not a nose guard right over the center very often. So it looks like a 4-3, but one guy's standing up. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
All right, a little football then.
Obviously, you don't like falling behind 17-0. But what did you learn about your team? There's going to be other times this year where you fall behind and you have to.
Yeah.
What did you learn about your team?
Well, I learned that it's always beneficial if the other team fumbles to you 3 times in a row. That's what we learned too. But it was good for us. It really was. Most times we get behind around here, and guys go in the jar a little bit, or just can't come out of it. So it was good. Yeah, it was good to be down 17-0 and come back. And hopefully, mentally, we can do that in the 4th quarter. We need to come from behind in the 4th quarter. That would be the real key for us to win a game like that. So we'll keep working on it and see if we can make a play to come from behind and win some in the 4th quarter. I mean, you look at Auburn. We were watching a tape today, Georgia and Mississippi State. Somebody started talking about that Auburn-Mississippi State game. Auburn beat them 17-14, just barely squeezed by them. And they must have 5 or 6 games like that in the course of the year. So that's how you have a big year, because we're certainly not a whole lot better than anybody, and hopefully they're not a whole lot better than us. And so much can happen in football now. So much can happen. Watching the boys in the Georgia game, Georgia kids dropped 2 or 3 passes that might have, they got a first down on the 30, or they're punting from midfield because of a drop pass. If they catch those, who knows how it turns around. And that ball's all over the place now, so it's getting to where 2 or 3 big plays, or you don't make the play, determine the winner. The best team doesn't always win in football. Sometimes you can play pretty doggone well, and the big plays went to the other guy, or a bad play happened somehow for you. So you just got, you just try to keep playing and try not to let the other guy get the big play, and you try to make some yourself, which is fortunately what happened to us the other night after we got behind. Started making some big plays, so forth.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah. Josh?
Last one.
Demir Barton.
Don't know yet. We'll find out as the week progresses on Demir. Okay.